Let's bring in Major General Dennis Thompson, who is in Montreal, former NATO task force commander. General Thompson, always good to see you here. What's at stake, do you think, for Zelenskyy in this tour? He started in the UK, then he was in Paris, now he's in Brussels.
Well, good afternoon, Todd. I think what we're witnessing here is one half of the race to rearm. And the race is obviously between Ukraine and Russia. And Mr. Zelenskyy is out trying to press the Western nations, European nations, to provide more arms. And so there's essentially three categories here. He needs armored vehicles to conduct ground offensives. He needs more ammunition, whether for existing weapons such as artillery, etc. And it's interesting to note that just a week ago, or less than a week ago, the U.S. promised him what are called ground-launched small-diameter bombs, which can be fired by the famous HIMARS rocket system, not 70 kilometers, but 150 kilometers. So he's getting some of the things that he needs to put this into effect. And then finally, the third bit is he's now asking for fighter jets. Because I think, as you know, the airspace over Ukraine right now is contested. And in order to wrest air control or air superiority away from the Russians, or to at least establish control locally over parts of the airspace, one would need more aircraft and be able to conduct what are called suppression of enemy air defense missions in order to clear the skies so that your armored forces can move forward and conduct an offensive. And on the Russian side, I'm certain that the similar thoughts are going through their minds in terms of what they need to accomplish.
Yeah, let's talk about those fighter jets. And I know that the United Kingdom, for example, seems to be signaling, General Thompson, that they are open to the idea of sending some fighter jets. And the sort of game changer that you think that might be?
Well, it's not necessarily an immediate game changer. Let's put it in perspective here. These are not airplanes that you can hand to any pilot and have them fly it. You might be able to train them to fly the aircraft in a few weeks if they're already a trained pilot, but to put it together into a combined joint operation where you're going out to deliberately suppress the enemy's air defense before you then conduct a larger airstrike is a pretty complex operation. And then, of course, there's the logistics that have to support these sorts of things. So this isn't something that's going to come together extremely rapidly, but it's certainly obviously on Mr. Zelenskyy's mind, and he wants to get it on the table so that they can move towards deploying this capability. How long that would take, I would be guessing, but it's months, not weeks or days.
Yeah, so let me ask you about that timeline, because this is where things get very tricky for the Ukrainians. I know you're following this closely. You know, countries, including Canada, have said, look, we're going to give you some of those Leopard 2 tanks you want. This big announcement earlier this week that some of those Leopard 1 tanks are going to be sent over, you know, the Abrams tanks down the line, these jets potentially, but it's all months away. I mean, the Russians seem to be coming, General Thompson, in weeks, not months. What does that mean?
Well, the Russians have been coming all winter, and they haven't been very successful around Bakhmut. And so there's certainly varying opinions amongst military analysts, but there is a stream of thought that says if they haven't been able to put it together yet, they're not going to be able to put it together in the future in any sort of meaningful way. They've been throwing themselves on the spear, if you will, at Bakhmut and taking horrendous casualties. And certainly the Ukrainians have taken casualties there too. But I believe the ratio is quite in favor of the Ukrainians and not so the Russians. There's concern, and rightfully so. But the difference in the clash of doctrines, if you will, the way that Ukraine fights and the way that Russia fights actually plays into Ukraine's favor. And of course, they're defending their home terrain. They've proved before that defensively they are quite robust, and only time will tell how this is going to work out. But as I said before, it's a race to rearm to see who can get the upper hand. And Russia does not have access to the same level or quality of equipment that Ukraine will get slowly over the next few months.
Just one last question about Russian tactics you were talking about and how they're different from Ukrainian tactics. I mean, tell me what it means when you have the Russians who seem to be willing to throw even untrained conscripts, General Thompson, into the line of fire, just kind of try to overwhelm the Ukrainians with a mass of soldiers.
It doesn't work in the modern context. It hasn't worked since World War I. You throw yourselves at trenches without being properly supported, and certainly the Russians have artillery, et cetera, but their ability to synchronize all of their armor, infantry and artillery is subpar compared to where the Ukrainians are, and has proven to be their Achilles heel. So yes, they can throw soldiers at the Ukrainian defenses, but unless they come at them in a combined manner and in a fashion that's coordinated, they will always be thrown back, or they'll gain 500 meters here, a kilometer there at an incredible cost. And that's exactly what's been transpiring over the course of this winter. Yes, they've made gains around Bakhmut, but we're talking kilometers, 1 or 2 kilometers here, a couple of 100 meters there. And it really is insignificant because the terrain they're currently fighting over is of no operational or strategic importance.
General Thompson, always a pleasure. Thank you for taking time for us from Montreal today. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Todd.